What's up, you guys? It's Jen, and today I wanted to hop over to the house because, as you guys know, it's Asian Pacific Heritage Month, so I am so excited to finally share with you a few things I've been wanting to talk with you about for the longest time. I'm super proud of being Korean American and Asian American, and I wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to State Farm. They are giving me the opportunity to just share with you some of the things that have been passed down in my family, give you a little sneak peek into my favorite pieces that are going to be decorating my new house, and I wanted to kind of share the history of the stories behind them as well. So along with the little updatey house tour, I wanted to share those things with you. Let's go ahead, go in, do a little unpacking, and I'll share with you some of the stories behind my favorite pieces. Let's go. As you can see, currently we are in a menagerie of boxes. This is just the first room. We had some flooding going on in our garage, so some of the restoration things have come back after being cleaned. The rest of it is covered in mold, and I think a lot of our things are destroyed. But some of my favorite things are in this pile. I'm gonna try to uncover it for you. Show you a couple of my very favorite things that I decorate my place with. I don't know if you saw it in one of my past living room tours. You might recognize this one in the background in a lot of my videos. Some of my favorite things that I own, period. I actually asked my parents about the history of these pieces because they've just been around my whole life, so I didn't really know when they were purchased or why. But apparently, after my parents got married in 1981, they decided to order these two plus another big table, and they were all this black lacquer with mother of pearl. This is a very popular style that was in Korea, especially in the 70s. So they actually shipped these all the way across the world. I've always been a fan of things that are black and white and a little bit sparkly, and I just think that the mother of pearl is exactly that. It actually suits my own personal taste, but it's the history of it that means everything, you know? It's something that is now passed down from my parents to me, and now my kids are going to get to grow up and see that in the house. And hopefully it means something to them as much as it did to me. It's just the fact that it's here that has significance, that it's my Korean heritage and history, and I think that's really unique and special. The second thing, okay, I have a story with this one too. Okay. So now this is a proper story time. This is one of my favorite things in my entire possession. Even though it's so small, it's so unassuming, this has more meaning to me than just about anything else that I own. So this is a little tiny jade vase. When I went to Korea, maybe, I wanna say like 12 years ago, I was on vacation with my family to Korea, and we were visiting my great uncle. We call him Kwachon Haraboji. It's my grandpa's brother. But to me, he was close to me like my own grandpa. So we were visiting them. For some reason, I was having all of these crazy nightmares. Every time I would sleep at night, every time I would fall asleep for a nap, or just when I would shut my eyes for a minute, I would have intense nightmares. So when I told him that, he said, I have something for you. He went to another area of his house, came back, and handed me this. And he said, this is jade. You need to sleep with this tonight, and you won't have any nightmares. And in my head, I was kind of like, that's a little like woo-woo to me. I didn't actually react in any way. Of course, I had to be very respectful to him. But he said, sleep with it tonight. You sleep with it, you won't have any nightmares. I was very desperate, and I also felt this deep sense of honor and gratefulness that he would give me something like this. Like, as far as I've known, you know, jade is very precious and very expensive. So because obviously if he gave it to me for this purpose, I knew it's also real. He said, you have this. I'm giving it to you as a gift. Sleep with it tonight. So I was like, okay, you know, okay, why not? I slept with it curled up by my chest that night, and that was the first night that I didn't have any nightmares. I don't know why, you know, I've heard that jade has a lot of healing properties in general, but that's always gonna mean so much to me, especially because my grandpa, he actually just passed away a couple months ago. So this is always going to be significant to me, and I'm always going to treasure it because the reason he gave it to me is because he cared about my well-being and he wanted me to sleep well. So thank you, Kwachan Harobotchi. I know that even though he's passed, I'll always remember him through this. Okay, now that I've gotten some of my feels out, I did want to give you a little house update. Like I said, this is our living room. Everything's sort of like taped off with some plastic, but if you can see, these previously white windows have all been repainted to this very dark charcoal color, and all of the hardware has gotten updated. These have had full restoration. They've been properly insulated. They now have these little like runoff bars so that when it rains, it's not gonna come inside our house. I've had enough with flooding, thank you very much. I'm just glad that they're going to be fully functional and they're looking quite beautiful. These walls, you've heard me say it before, but they are not going to stay butter yellow. Once the walls are white, I really think the gray is going to pop so beautifully. So that will be one of our future steps we do. Let me show you. This is gonna be so beautiful. I'm in the dining room now. So this wall of windows, I think is just gonna look so cool with the dark and white contrast. So here are the windows in the laundry room. I think it looks really nice. We have new casement latches, new hinges everywhere. And then it's kind of dark because we're just about to replace the window that's in front of the sink. There was like a really old garden window. It was aluminum and definitely not suiting to the house, the whole window. We're gonna change out to something that looks a little bit more original, I guess. One of my favorite upgrades that we decided to do is in our master bedroom. We decided to go with these brushed gold fasteners. Unfortunately, we couldn't find gold in all of the pieces, but I still think mixing the gold with the black looks quite good, and it makes the master bedroom stand out a little bit more. It's just like a little bit more upgraded and fancy. I really think once we have some drapes on here, it's really gonna be popping and looking so beautiful, because I really want to decorate with a lot more gold in the house. I'm gonna put my mask back on just because of all the dust. And then maybe one of the biggest changes has to be inside the office. You can see behind me, all of our stuff is piled into one corner and covered up. They're redoing all of these arched windows here. This one is currently boarded up because we're replacing all of the glass pieces in all of the different sections. For some reason, these all line up and they all match, but that one must have been replaced at some point because the bars weren't even. So they're fixing that while they're already redoing the windows. Someday soon, we'll be able to do all of our work sitting right here, looking out these windows, looking at the green front yard, and just being able to appreciate all of this light. I think my hope at the end of all of this is to have a really classic looking house that's not going to go out of style really quickly, but then decorate it with different pieces that are blending of my taste, but also have little hints of my history too. That's the best house, is one that's filled with things that remind you of the people and places that you love. So that's my goal. Hopefully we'll get there someday. It feels like it's never, ever, ever going to happen, but I still have faith. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this pandemic. We're gonna get through all of the permits, all of the flooding, all of the mold, all of the asbestos, all of everything. It's really been such an uphill battle. Technically, we bought this house in like December, so it's literally been almost half a year of, I feel like, barely nothing. But it's so refreshing to see the windows done, and I know a lot of it is going to progress from here, hopefully. Hopefully soon. I will let you guys know, and if you want to stay updated with all of our renovations and all of the changes that we're making, all of the progress that's happening, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I guess that's about it. I do want to say thank you so much once again to State Farm. Y'all are awesome. I'm so happy to be sharing some of my Asian American history with you guys. This is just a small little question I have in my head for you guys. Do you have anything in your house house that you own from your like mother country, and what is it? I'm curious to know. I guess that's about it. I love you guys, and make sure you like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. I love you. Bye. Mwah.